In the village of Aitoro, Mama Niyi woke before the sun. She was not the first wife of Baba Ola, nor the last. She was the third, second to the last, caught in the delicate hierarchy of a polygamous home where love was never evenly shared, only rationed. But Mama Niyi loved him in uncelebrated way women like her did, through labor, through sacrifice, through silence. Every morning before the sky turned gold, she would wrap her faded wrapper tightly around her waist and walk to the farm. Dew clung to her ankles as she harvested cassava, okra, and pepper. Her back ached, her palms hardened, but she walked with the stubborn hope that one day, Baba Ola would see her. By noon she would be in the market, voice hoarse from calling buyers, hustling to sell off her products. By evening, she would return home with the money she made and place it all in Baba Ola's hands. Looking at her. "Thank you, my wife." But the money she gave him never came back to her or her children. It went to the last wife's children, the youngest wife Mama Tommy with softer hands, lighter laughter, and a way of speaking that melted Baba Ola's stubbornness. Her children went to good schools in the town. They wore neat uniforms. They spoke English with confidence. Mama Niyi's 4 children stopped at secondary school. "School is expensive," Baba Ola would say when she gathered courage to ask, and she would nod, swallow the pain, and go back to the farm. Years passed. Mama Niyi's youth faded quietly, like smoke after cooking fire. But she never stopped loving him. Even when he slept more nights in the last wife's hut. Even when her children began to look at her with the silent question, "Why did you give so much to a man who gave you so little?" She had no answer. Only love. Suddenly illness came, it came gently like a soft pain in her bones. One day became 2, then into weeks. Her body, worn by decades of work and quiet heartbreak, could no longer carry her. On her sickbed, with her children gathered around her and the harmattan wind on a Friday just before Christmas slipping through the window, Mama Niyi looked tired and exhausted than she had ever been. But her voice was clear. "My children," she said softly, "I loved your father with all my life. I gave him everything I had, but I did not receive love the way a woman should." Her daughters wept quietly. Her sons clenched their jaws. Mama Niyi's eyes lifted to the ceiling, as if she could see beyond the roof, beyond the sky. "If there is another life," she whispered, "I will come back, and men will love me. They will treat me gently. They will do things to please me. I will not suffer for any man again." A tear slipped from the corner of her eye. And with one final breath, Mama Niyi left the world. Years later, in the ever-busy city of Lagos, Niyi's wife went into labor with her second child. It was a rainy morning with thunderstorm in April. The kind where the sky wept heavily before giving way to new life. When the baby arrived, the midwife smiled. "It's a beautiful girl," she said. Niyi held the child in his arms, staring at her tiny face, her calm expression, as though she had seen this world before with some sort of resemblance in a familiar way. Niyi looked at his wife. His wife looked back at him, remembering the words Mama Niyi had spoken on her deathbed. Together, they said, "Yitunde," meaning, "Mother has returned again." Yitunde grew up unlike anyone else in her family. Yitunde was surrounded by love and ease. Where Mama Niyi had begged for affection, Yitunde received it effortlessly. Men were drawn to her, not just by her beauty, but by the softness of her spirit, her grace and the quiet strength in her eyes. They opened doors for her. They listened when she spoke. They gave, without her asking. And for the first time in a lifetime, or perhaps 2, she was loved without struggle. Yitunde often wondered why. Sometimes, when she stood in the early morning light, she felt a strange ache in her chest, like a memory she couldn't fully remember. The smell of fresh early morning dew would make her pause. The sound of coins clinking in someone's hand would make her heart tighten. And sometimes, in dreams, she saw herself walking barefoot on a farm at dawn, carrying baskets, calling out in a market, and handing money to a man who barely looked at her. She would wake up with tears on her cheeks. One evening, Sitting on her balcony as the sun set over Lagos Street, Yetunde's husband came behind her and wrapped his arms around her gently. "You work too hard," he whispered. "Let me take care of you." Yetunde smiled softly, leaning into him.